My name is Juan Camilo. I'm the owner and the founder of the Dyckman Beer Company. I started reading articles on craft beers in New York City and talked about Brooklyn breweries, Single Cut in Queens, Staten Island, and there was a big part of the map that clearly did not have any beer, and that was Uptown. When I looked at that map, I could have sat there and just said, you know, when are we gonna have our own beer? But I did something about it. And you know, I think there's a lot of symbolism behind that. So it was a no-brainer. I knew that I wanted us to have something that we could call our own. So right now what's happening uptown, and you know, one of the reasons why I chose to go with the Dyckman Beer Company is because there's a ton of amazing things. You know, Dyckman is a cultural center for a lot of business, nightlife. You know, people from different parts of the city go up there to hang out. And I think the timing is perfect. I think we're ready for something like this, and you know, I'm excited to see how people react to it. You know, a venture like this, I really wanted to represent Uptown well, so you know, I reached out to brewmasters that have been in the industry. After that, we made 3 beers: a Pilsner, a cherry wheat beer, and a Saison. Once I had the recipes, which took about 2 tries each in about 3 months, at that point you got to find a manufacturer to make your beer. And you know, it took about a month of cold calling breweries all the way from Maine down to Georgia. You know, I got a lot of no's and I got a few yeses, and at the end of the day, I think I found the right manufacturer for me to make the best beer that I have. So in essence, there's 3 parts of making beer. There's the mash, the boil, and the fermenter. So the mash takes the wort, which is all the starches, and breaks down the enzymes at high temperature. What that does, it really brings out, you know, the true flavors of the barley. After that, it's the boiler. What that does is sterilizes everything. And that's extremely important because the last step is the fermentation process, which is the yeast. You gotta keep in mind that yeast is a living organism. So there's nothing in there that can be inside the tanks except sugars. What yeast does, it takes the sugars, eats them, and what comes out of there is alcohol. And in essence, that's the process of making beer. The mash, the boiler, and the fermenter. One of the best parts and the biggest challenge is going to be educating people on the different kinds of beers. You know, there's hundreds of different styles of beers. You know, from the simple Pilsner that I think is what everybody is really used to Doppelbocks, to Saisons, to stouts. And you know, I really want to show diversity in my products and you know, come out with different kinds of beers, because the world of beer is amazing. And you know, for people that don't drink beer, the way I think about it is that you just haven't found the beer that you like yet, but there's definitely a beer for everybody. The Dyckman Brew Pilsner, what we did, we took a Pilsner and broke it down to its most basic level. You know, one of my biggest frustrations is that I feel like people don't know what real beer is. We're used to things that are watered down. You know, they're made in like huge tanks that are as big as the buildings we live in, and there's nothing special about them. So, you know, I chose to go with smaller tanks. So the Pilsner, again, in essence, we took hops, yeast, malt, and barley, and we took about 3 different strains of those and made it a very complex beer. And you know, as complex people, I also went ahead and put spices and a little bit of honey because that's what represents us. From what I did something that I know we all love and grew up with, and I put chinola in it. And I think that's really my differentiator, is just doing things that hit close to home, doing things that are, you know, part of our culture, part of like who we are. This is something that's very near and dear to me, so it's just gonna be Uptown for the summertime. After that, we're gonna be hitting craft beer bars in New York City and slowly making our way all around the city. But as of right now, it's gonna be in all your favorite places uptown. This is a beer that represents Uptown. You know, we've always been overlooked, and I want to put us on the map. So at the end of the day, this is, you know, a step towards our progression as a people, as a culture. We're clearly evolving, doing bigger and better things, and that's what it should mean.